you've got thousands of people infected. And so even if we get down to that one or two people, which would be a miracle, it could just go right back up so quickly.
Yeah, well, that's what they're saying. Like when we open stuff up, there's just gonna be like all these resurgences. Because I think it was Saturday or Sunday, I keep track. I go to the Southern Nevada Health District website, and I keep track of it. So Saturday or Sunday, it was like 96 deaths and like 2,100 cases, and now it's over 2,500, and there's 115 deaths. So just in a couple of days, it's went up almost 20 deaths.
Where is that? Where is that?
Southern Nevada Health District.
Oh my gosh.
If you just type in, if you go to Google and type in SNHD, it'll pull up Southern Nevada Health District website, and you can just go to it. And they have a tracker where they update it every day. And I try not to check it every day because that's depressing, but I do keep track like every 2 or 3 days.
You want to know what's out there and the level of protection that you're going to need. But yeah, and imagine people are talking about opening things up as soon as May 1st. Can you imagine if they open the casinos? We would all be doomed.
I don't think they'll do that, but we do need to start opening some stuff up because this isn't sustainable for long term.
Yeah. Wow.
I'll put the website that I was talking about in the chat so everyone could have it.
Perfect. Thank you, Marianne.
Hey, Marianne, this was the website that's talking about going up to 18 months.
No, I'll put that one in too. I put in the website that tracks cases for Las Vegas.
Oh, gotcha.
I'll put in the other one that talks about going up to 2022.
Holy moly.
Okay, well, our time has come. So, Stan, do you want to give a general welcome, and then we'll just move right into New Network Northwest.
Welcome, everybody. Everybody can hear me okay, right? Shake your head, just nod. There we go. Good. So make sure that you do us a favor and mute your microphone if you are not speaking, so that just in case you shuffle things around on your desk or pick glasses up and set them down and whatever, that those little bitty noises will take over the mic, right? And it makes it hard to get the person that is talking to capture all of their information. So do that. And a little tip is that if you are on a computer and you are muted, the easy way to talk is to touch the space bar on your computer for the time that you're talking, and then let go of it and you're back on mute. So that's one of those little tips that most of the time it works. Sometimes you have to mute and unmute to trigger it again, but most of the time that works well for making sure that we manage the noise level as people are talking and so forth. At any rate, welcome and thank you for joining us again. I'm excited that we've got the number of people that we do have that are continuing to plug in and the network. And you guys are here, you're winners. You're not letting COVID-19 stop you or shoot you in the foot. You know, it was interesting when Mark and I were talking yesterday. He was talking about how he's busy and many of the agents in their organization are busy and still working, but there are some that aren't, that are kind of sitting back waiting for it to get back to the normal. And the scary part is that, you know, I think we're going to all go into a new normal. It's not going to be back into the normal that we're used to. And I think it's a little scary if we sit around and we wait for that to return, that we might be waiting for a long time. So who knows? So
could be waiting on Skid Row.
Could be waiting on Skid Row. Exactly. David, so you didn't know this, but Facebook did not, it never did connect to go live. So just out of grins, I tried YouTube. I don't have the YouTube channel for this group. So it's actually broadcasting live on my YouTube channel right now.
Oh, okay.
So we'll get a little bit more exposure maybe that way as well. So we are broadcasting live on YouTube right now. The as you know, we've talked about this before in this group, that this is really a group designed to help nurture relationships so that we build the know, like, and trust factor. And it's interesting because since we've gone to Zoom and we've gone online, we don't seem to get as many new people showing up and trying it out. And I'm not sure why, other than people are just afraid of technology or whatever. But, we do have it posted still out on Eventbrite and on Facebook, but we'll keep pushing to do that. David and I have been trying to do some Facebook Lives leading up to these meetings so that we can then have everybody else share those out to your friends, to your networks, and so forth, so that maybe we get more exposure and we get more people to come in and join us. So look for those if you would. If you've not gone to the Noon Network Northwest Facebook group, please make sure you go find the group and like it, and then turn on notifications so that when we do go live in that group, you'll get the notification of it, and you'll be able to actually then take that Facebook Live, share it out, write your own message to it, whatever, or you go and post something and share it to share the group, and let's try and get more people to join in with us. The fact that we're online doing this means that this literally could open up to a much larger audience than what we would have right here in Las Vegas. Now, Mark might be the only one that can't sell or do his services across state lines or national lines or something like that. But I think pretty much everybody else is free to be able to offer their services to people anywhere in the world. So let's make it a worldwide thing as we move forward.
Even
Now,
Mark might be able to get some cross referral networks going where people that are in other areas that have someone move to Las Vegas could.
That's right.
call Mark.
Or the Las Vegas people move somewhere else, that he creates a network maybe or something like that, right? The group, this group, was really founded with David, Michael, myself, and Mark has come on and become one of the leaders for us with it. So that's kind of the leadership group at the moment with it. And let's see what else. I think that's really it. We're going to have David take over, and he is going to, I'm going to kind of be the guy behind the scenes working the controls, so to speak. But David's going to lead us through the 1-minute introductions and then introduce the speakers for today. And we will then go through, and then at the end of the meeting, we will do our breakout rooms so that we can then spend a little bit of time talking with each other again, and we'll get a little more practice at doing that as well. So, all right, David, why don't you take over?
Okay, excellent. I'll just play off of something that Stan said a moment ago, where he was saying, I don't know why there are not more people coming since we went live. And I think we need to go back to where we were when we were live, which was, hey, let's all get out and let's invite others, to people that we know, to come to this group. Now we don't have that little room in the Eggworks that's limiting. So we could do a lot of inviting. Post this on your social media and just invite individuals. You're in other networking groups. If you go to networklasvegas.com, where I've got the upcoming networking schedule for Las Vegas and all the organizations and the registration links for all those other meetings. If you just attend 1 or 2 of those other meetings each week and then mention Noon Network Northwest. I found when I was in BNI that it became easier for me to invite people to a BNI chapter to grow their business than simply to say, hey, use my services, because I gave you another reason immediately to connect with people. I knew people in BNI that was just going down the street from business to business and saying, hey, would you like to grow your business? I can help you. I'd like to invite you to this group of friends that are focused on sharing referrals and growing one another's businesses. And that creates an immediate in that may even be beyond. You can later talk about your services, because now you've shown people that you're interested in them, and not just in growing your business. So it's just a kind of a win-win. Grow this group, grow, and make new connections for your business. And one thing that we learned from BNI that studies how chapters grow and how businesses grow was that as the numbers get larger, growth becomes geometric. And what I mean by that is that you get a chapter of 40 people and it becomes a vortex for business. And everyone receives a lot more referrals than just a numerical increase in referrals. I mean, it becomes geometric as the group grows. So encourage you to, as you grow this, our group here, you're growing your business. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's focus on sharing the value of our business and the referral that you're looking for. And I'll go ahead and start out just to give a model. David Smith with Marketing Department, LV.com. And the value of my business is that I help businesses to create marketing on the internet and off the internet, online and offline, creating marketing strategy, and then putting into place all the details that, whether it's the website, whether it's email, whatever it is, putting into place the details. And I've got a team. Stan is on my team. And you know how valuable he is as far as the help that he delivers. I've got 10 people on this team. And in particular, I'll say today what I'm looking for is I'm looking for contractors. Now I know contractors are out of, many are out of work, but there's still people driving around in those trucks with the side panels that say, what the business is. That is an ideal client for me and for marketing department that I'd like to advertise today. Okay, Sherry.
Can we applaud you?
There you go.
Yes. always welcome for that.
Good morning, everybody.
There we go.
We're still morning. We are. So what I'd like to talk about today, you all know I have a nutritional company, a very, very well-respected one. Recently bought up a number of other companies, other health and wellness companies that were running a risk there. So we're a very financially sound company. But today I'd like to talk about, are you getting balance in your life? Are you sleeping well? Are you getting exercise and fresh air? Are you eating really good nutritional food? These things are important because they help us deal with stress. And this new environment definitely has caused some stressors for all of us. I think you could probably nod and say, yeah, one way or another, there are things. We are all trying to fill our days with healthy, good things and to be productive, even though we're not spending as much time at our normal work out and about, just commuting time and all of that. So we have a product, a very unique product. It's called Ionic Supreme. It's a little powder, comes in a little package, and it has 9 of the 11 adaptogens. If any of you are familiar with what an adaptogen is, it is a unique property, botanical or herb, that are found all over the world. And there are 11 of them, and 9 of them are in this little product, which is an apple juice and molasses base. You drink it like a hot tea. In addition to botanicals and the adaptogens that's in it, it has 2000% of B12. So it is energy as well as it's going to help with stress. So I'm looking for those that you might know are really going through stress. It's a simple thing, little packets. This is the box. There's 30 in here, and just drink it like a hot tea. But it is really designed specifically to help us manage stress. So, reminder to everyone to be balanced in what you're doing. Do all those things throughout the day. Fill your day. I'm coloring because I'm putting my telephone across the room, and I am coloring to get a break. So I must be close to time. Just wanting to help you live healthier. Sherry with Isogenics. Thank you.
Wonderful, Sherry. Thank you.
Forgot my
Okay.
timer.
I was going to
And
say, I
Michael.
think you reminded Michael that he was supposed to be timing. He was busy listening to you.
That's good.
Hey, that's good.
Okay. Michael, you would be next, but your video just disappeared. You're looking for your timer. Mark, you go.
All right. Hi, I'm Mark Pico with Farmers Insurance. I think the value, what I look for is always to talk with people who are looking for value in whatever they do. Typically, value is defined, whenever I look at it, by three different things. But what often people do is they define value as price, and that price only, which is in some cases appropriate, not necessarily in every case. Good. So I look for people who are looking to get the best value and become educated on what it is that they can get. To give you a quick example, about a year or so ago, almost exactly a year or so ago, I was working with a client or a prospect who was opening up a new restaurant. And we were offering a variety of different things like foodborne illness coverage, spoilage coverage, etc. She decided to go directly with just a general liability policy, which doesn't cover any of those things. And now she's finding herself in a problem because one of the other things we offer is business interruption income coverage. So while things are closed because of either a covered claim or because of governmental regulations, we will pay them their normal, what they would normally get in daily, monthly, or weekly income. So I've reached back out to her. It's too late to do anything for her now, but it's unfortunate that this had to happen for her to understand that price is not, the cheapest thing is not always the best thing for you. So that's what I'm looking for, is someone who's got that desire to understand beyond that first, that monthly premium, what they're going to get for their money. So again, Mark with Farmers Insurance.
Very good. Thank you, Mark. And Nancy is next.
Hi. And you know what, David, I appreciate this subject matter because I was thinking I have a focus now for the next 2.5 weeks till the end of April. And what is the value of it? I'm thinking it's the value of people becoming involved and people feeling like they can make a difference. My program that I'm doing is simply adopt a healthcare worker. I'm looking for people that would be interested in spending $14 to buy a hand cream. And if they buy a hand cream, I will match it and I'll give 2 hand creams to healthcare workers. And so I'm hoping to sell 100 hand creams in the next 2.5 weeks. So people could buy 1, they could buy 10, they could tell their friends about it. I've got a flyer that I can add to the Facebook group. I guess that's the right way to do it. But it gives people an opportunity to be involved. Obviously, the more people that I come in contact with, I can expand what I'm offering, which is I'm doing some Zoom calls about skincare supplements, educational programs to give people some fun, primarily women, not necessarily. Men have skin too. But that's kind of what I'm up to. So I'm Nancy McGurno with Mary Kay. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Nancy. Okay, let's go with Marianne.
I'm Marianne Blackham with Blackham Fitness, and I provide personal training as well as other fitness offerings like boot camp classes. And a great referral for me is someone who is bored and looking to fill their time. I can help them with training sessions to fill that boredom time.
Okay. And Marianne, by the way, is delivering a webinar this evening for the Achieving Your Optimal Health series. And you can go to networklasvegas.com, see the link, and register for it. I've seen her material. It is totally awesome.
What's she going to be talking about? What are you talking about, Marianne?
Exercise and physical and mental health.
So it's going to be excellent, believe me. Okay.
Too late on both of
Louise.
those for
Oh.
me.
Yeah, maybe save you a trip to Albertsons, huh?
You should come tonight, Mark.
Okay, Louise. Louise, you need to unmute yourself.
She's unmuted. She's got
Oh.
a mic issue that's going on. So
Oh,
got to figure out what that is.
there we go.
Yeah, is that better?
Yes.
Yes, it's better. Okay, Sherry. This is my stress reliever right here. Anything to do with my hands, I love it. Making it for my new granddaughter or grandson. We don't know yet. Anyway, my name is Ruth, owner, founder of Little Candle Tea Company, where I light your path with quality loose leaf tea. And the value of buying tea from me is that I only procure tea in a sustainable and ethical manner. I only use suppliers that procure the tea, test the tea, and taste the tea, and they have their own tasters and testers, and I know everything I get is safe and very tasty. The value of the people I'm looking for right now are people who don't want to leave their home, buy their tea online. My e-commerce site is www.littlecandletea.com, and I have Mother's Day. I have a Mother's Day special Tea of the Month Club, 15% off.
Very good.
Again, Louise Carruth, Little Candle Tea Company.
Thank you so much, Louise. And just a note, I noticed that Louise was kind of freezing sometimes and then becoming back alive. Just like to suggest that if you've got other things opened on your computer, you've got any memory hogging programs or any other windows opened up on your internet browser, you might want to close those because that'll sap up the energy needed for
Yeah.
the video.
That happens with me on my Chromebook sometimes. I had a gallery view and I should have gotten rid of it, and that helps too.
Okay. Okay, Michael.
Hello, it's me, Michael Morrow. I'm a freelance copywriter. I write marketing copy, basically, that's on web pages, emails, even on Facebook. And basically what that does is it aims at your key customer, the one that you're looking at, like you're talking to them right next to a water cooler. So basically you're wanting to attract that person and get them into your list, get them into through your funnel. That way you can have that person buying from you, especially a big buyer on a regular basis. And that's what I do. And my name is Michael Morrow. I hope I can help you in some way in the future. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael. And Stan.
All right, Stan Shields here, marketing automations. And I'm going to be talking to you more today about marketing automations and exactly what I mean with that. I'm going to give you an example of just how that works. So we'll get more into that in a little bit later. A good referral is going to be someone who does not have that list that Michael was talking about and needs to actually build that list, to start building it. And would like even maybe one of the newest things is a calendar tool to help you book appointments, book Zoom meetings, put it on your calendar and put it in your database all in one shot. So I'm going to be sharing some of that with you today.
Excellent. Good, Stan. Okay, so thank you everyone for sharing, and we'll have breakout rooms later. You can drill down a little further with what you heard today and get some more information, and hopefully set up a one-to-one meeting where the real knowledge exchange and referrals exchange are more likely to happen. So now what we'd like to do is move into our time of presentations. We got two amazing presentations set for today. One, let's start with Mark. Mark Pico, Pico Farmers Insurance Agency here in Centennial Hills. Mark, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Well, thank you very much. As I mentioned, Stan gave me a tutorial yesterday. So Stan, if I screw this up, it's got nothing to do with how good an instructor you were. It's just not the brightest bulb in the lamp sometimes.
That's not what people usually say to me. They say, if I screw up, it's your fault.
Well, you know jujitsu, so I don't want to get you angry at me.
So it's my fault.
What I'm going to do is there are a number of things I like talking about, and I do a lot of presentations, or I used to do a lot of presentations face to face. I love talking about commercial insurance. At this point in time, I do a lot of talking to people about life insurance. It's the situation that we're in right now has brought that to the forefront for a lot of folks. It's unfortunate that we had to wait for something like this for that to happen, because something is critical. I talk about commercial insurance. I'm going to stick though with one that I do about 3 or 4 times a month for the Housing and Urban Development Group, and it's on homeowners insurance. So if I can not screw this up, and Stan, I'm hitting my little share screen, and then I'm going to zing on over to here. And can you guys see that?
Not yet. You need to share the screen. Do you have the share button?
I did hit the share button, so you guys aren't seeing this yet, huh?
It's that green share button at the bottom of the videos.
Yep, I got that. Oh, there we go.
There we
Can you
go.
guys see it now?
Yes.
Hey, what do you know? I didn't screw that up too badly. So let me go and just kind of work off of this. So again, what I'm going to primarily talk about is homeowners insurance. And this typically takes about a half hour. There's a lot of conversation back and forth, but I'm just going to run through it. But if anybody's got any questions, please feel free to ask. So I always like to start out explaining what insurance really is, because it's probably the most misunderstood thing most people spend a great deal of money on. And all insurance is simply the transfer of risk. It's transferring what you want to hold tight to yourself as far as risk associated with losses, and how much you want to go ahead and give to have the insurance company take. So that's at its core. All it is how much do you want to absorb? How much do you want to give somebody else? So for example, if I owned a home, let's say I owned a $300,000 home and I owned it outright, and that's how much it would cost to rebuild. No one is going to make me get homeowners insurance. The only people I'm making get homeowners insurance are your mortgage company. There's no state requirement or anything of that nature. So I could choose to carry 100% of that $300,000 risk. The good news, if nothing ever happens to my home, great, I save some money. However, let's say 5 years from now, that home burns to the ground. I own the entire $300,000 risk. There's no one else that's going to jump on in. The flip side is you can buy insurance, and you might pay $500 or $600 a year for that insurance and have $1,000 deductible. Go down that 5 years, let's say it's $500 a month. You spend $2,500 on your insurance, $1,000 deductible. So now we're at $3,500. That $300,000 home burns to the ground. I net out $297,500 to the good, because the insurance company is going to cover everything else. So that's all it is. How much do you want to take? How much do you want to give somebody else? It's something that we all know we have to have. If you own a home, most of us aren't fortunate enough to own it outright. If you own a car, the state requires it. So for most people, insurance is simply something they have to have. And again, unfortunately, very often they look for the cheapest thing that they can get. But imagine if you were going to a dentist or a doctor. Do you want to go to the cheapest dentist or doctor that you can find? Probably not. If it were me and I had something that I needed some assistance with, medical assistance with, and I had the choice of these two individuals, I would probably go with the young lady. Not sure the guy on the left is the guy that I'm going to trust. And what you want is you want to make sure that whenever you deal with anything, that you look for people who are willing to listen to you and ask you questions and try to define something or create something that's specific to you. I've never met the average person. Everybody's different. And if you go to the doctor and the doctor just prescribes something to you without asking you questions, I'd be worried. If your insurance agent prescribes you a policy without asking you questions, I'd also be worried. For most of us, the biggest single asset that we will ever own is our home. And we spend a great deal of time finding the right home for us. We're going to make sure that it's in the right neighborhood, the right school district. Is it close to work? Is it far away from work? Is it close to shopping or the highways? Whatever that might be, we're going to spend a great deal of time making sure that it's what is most appropriate to us. However, very often people end up insuring that single biggest asset as an afterthought. They go to sign their paperwork, and the mortgage company says you have insurance, and they say, no, great, I'll get you some. And what you end up getting is something that will protect the mortgage company, but not necessarily you. It'll protect their interest, not yours. So again, my recommendation is if you are going to be buying a home or if you own a home, spend a little bit of time making sure that what you have is adequately protected to your needs. So if you own a single family dwelling, which is most of what we have here, just a regular standalone one family home, in Southern Nevada, we're very fortunate. The vast majority of policies that are sold for homes in Southern Nevada fall into one of two categories, an HO3 policy or an HO5 policy. And this is the only time insurance tries not to fool you. HO stands for homeowners. So we don't come up with any fancy things. In other parts of the country where there are older homes that are in disrepair, there are other options, but we're going to stick with the two most common. And by far, the most common policy you're going to find in Southern Nevada is an HO3 policy. It's sold by almost every insurance carrier in the state. And if for the vast majority of those carriers, it's the only policy that they will sell. It's a great policy. It will protect your dwelling, the actual physical structure, very, very well. The question then becomes, what about all the stuff you have inside? So imagine that and I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this. Here's my fancy little prop. Let's say this was my house. My little calculator is my house. If I opened up the front door and picked it up and shook it, everything that comes out is called personal property. So the question becomes, how is your personal property protected in the HO3? So again, your structure is going to be protected very, very well. But an HO3 policy is what's called a named peril policy. So if your home is damaged by something that's actually listed within the policy, and your policies, probably none of you guys have ever seen your home policy. Your home policy is about 35 pages in length. What you get from your insurance company is a summary of that. But buried within that 30 pages are going to be about 10 to 20 items that if your home is damaged by that, your personal possessions are covered. If your home is damaged by anything else, your personal possessions are not covered. You get to own that entire risk. And if they are covered, unless you pay extra for an endorsement, your personal possessions will be protected, but they'll also take a deduction for depreciation. So that couch that you bought last year from RC Willey's for $1,000, if it's damaged now 3 years later, you're going to get whatever it's worth on the open market today. I always talk about thrift shop value. If you went to Goodwill, what would you pay for it? And that's probably what you'll get back. So as an example, let's imagine you bought a $3,000 mattress in Box Spring and it had a 10-year life expectancy, but 8 years later it's damaged or destroyed in a claim. What do you get? With an HO3, in most cases, you will get the value that's left. So if you've used 8 out of 10 years, you've used 80% of it, you get about $600 for that $3,000 mattress. What do? You either go out and buy a $600 mattress, or you take that $600, put $2,400 of your own money on it, and you get a $3,000 mattress. Imagine that multiplied by everything in your home. Just look in your underwear drawer. My socks, I'm always amazed at how much socks cost. But imagine everything in your home was gone and you were getting 50 cents, 25 cents on the dollar. What would that do to you? The other option is what's called an HO5 policy. And it's almost the reverse. First of all, structurally, it will protect the home in the exact same way that a HO3. They're virtually the same in that category. But an HO5 policy is called an open peril policy. And that just means that unless it's specifically excluded, everything is covered. Every peril is covered. What's excluded on an HO5 are also excluded on an HO3, typically earthquake and flood. That's what you're really going to see. There are a couple of other things, but if they ever happen, you're in deep trouble, like nuclear war and things of that nature. Those are excluded. So let's see how that works. Same scenario, $3,000 mattress, 10-year life expectancy, 12 years later, you have a covered loss and the bed is damaged or destroyed. What do you get? Remember, with the HO3, you get what it's worth. This is beyond the life expectancy, so you get zero. On an HO5 policy, there's no life expectancy limitations, and you will get enough to replace that item new without a deduction for depreciation. So probably can't find the same mattress 12 years later, but if it's a Sealy Posturepedic, we're going to find you find what a Sealy Posturepedic with a pillow top would cost, and we'll give you the money for that. So those are the biggest differences there. The biggest thing on this, and I know I'm rushing through this very quickly, but I want to be respectful of you guys. The biggest thing is not every policy is right for every single person. You should be able to customize what you want. The wrong policy can cost you thousands of dollars. If you don't know what you have, the last time you want to find that out is when you've got a claim. While the house is on fire, you can't ask for more. They're just not going to give it to you. Some other things, do you have the right policy? If you have fences, pools, or sheds, are they covered? If you like to travel, if your things are lost or stolen when you travel, are they covered? How much will it pay if someone's injured in your home? Things of that nature. If you have collectibles, jewelry, comic books, guns, stamps, artwork, are they covered and how are they covered? If you've got gold bars under your bed, let me know. I'll be there tonight, and we'll be getting those from you guys. But there are a lot of different ways to customize your home. I don't know what's important to you. You know what's important to you. You need to have that conversation with your agent. And then probably the last thing I want to talk about is for many people buying their home, they qualify to buy their home using multiple sources of income. The husband and wife might both contribute to that mortgage. If one is gone, what happens? In many cases, the survivor has to sell that house, has to pick up the family, move away from the neighborhood, move away from friends, take kids out of school. I always recommend people at least look into the idea. A lot of people call it mortgage insurance protection. It's just a term policy for the value of the home and for the length of the loan. But take a look at that. You'd be surprised how inexpensive a term policy of 10 or 20 years might be for the vast majority of folks. And it's a great hedge against that unexpected thing that may occur. So again, I know I'm running through this. The biggest thing is find someone that's willing to talk to you, find someone that's willing to ask you questions so that you get a policy that's right for you, not right for your neighbor. And that's about it. If your agent won't talk to you, I would look for another agent. Demand perfection and demand professional assistance. And that's about it. So I know I ran through that very quickly. I apologize, but any questions?
Yes, I'm wondering, Mark, what is the price difference in, just a ballpark percentage between an HO3 and an HO5?
That's a great question. And you know what? I get that question almost every single time because it sounds like you're getting a lot more from an HO5, which you do, than with an HO3. The only way I can explain that is give you a little history lesson. Prior to 2008, when the economy crashed, about 50% of the people had HO5s, and a lot more companies sold them, and about 50% had an HO3. The HO5 at that time was about double what an HO3 cost. When the economy crashed, all of a sudden everybody was looking for the best way to save money. So one of the things they did was they all moved from an HO5 to an HO3. Went down to maybe about 15% of the people with an HO5. What ended up happening is HO3 prices became higher simply because the insurance companies now had a much greater pocket of risk. So they had to go ahead, they had more people in the HO3 group, so they had to charge more in order to cover the potential additional losses. The ones that sold HO5s made, I think, a very smart decision. They said, okay, well, we got a very small group of people now. Let's be very selective on what homes we bring on in, and let's keep the prices low. I would tell you right now, David, if you brought me 10 homes today and 10 different people, 10 homeowners, and I ran and they all had HO3s, probably 8 out of the 10 times will be at the same price or less.
Wow.
Simply because as bad as it sounds, 2008 allowed the insurance companies to that sell HO5s to eliminate those risky homes.
Okay, well, that's, wow. It's like if you're in an HO3, then you're not too smart at this time.
Well, you know, everything's different for everybody. You know, there is no right thing for anybody, but certainly I would say in most cases, an HO5 provides you much greater protection for the same or lesser cost. But the problem is there's only about 3 companies in the state that sell it.
Okay.
Farmers sells it. AAA will sell one. They used to, when I used to be the territory sales manager for AAA, we sold both. They still offer it occasionally, but it's a little bit pricier. They didn't really take advantage of the opportunity as well as others. And there's one other out there. I can't always forget if it's Shelter or American Family. I always forget which one is the other one that sells it. But they're very difficult to find, and most people don't know what to ask for. And if all you sell is an HO3, you're certainly not going to go ahead and say, hey, why don't you buy an HO5? By the way, I can't sell it. You know, probably the funniest thing I ever had is I had a client that had Liberty Mutual, and I'll shut up here in a second. And we were about the same price. We were within dollars of what they were paying for Liberty Mutual. And the person I wasn't explaining an HO3 or an HO5 very, very well. So I just called from my cell phone, so it didn't show up as a business call, but I called Liberty Mutual, their home, you know, their 800 number. And I just said, hey, I'm looking to, and I had on speaker, I said, I'm looking to get a home policy. And I heard about these HO3s and HO5s. Do you sell them both? And he said, no. I said, well, which one do you sell? He said, the HO3. Well, why don't you sell the HO5? And he said, we just can't compete. So, you know, that was an easy sale after that.
Very good, smart.
So, any other questions?
I got a comment. I got to tell you, Mark, this is great because I love your presentation, your slide presentation. It illustrated more what we need to understand about insurance, because most people, when they buy insurance, just buy it. They are required to get the insurance, like you're talking about, by law. So they don't know exactly what they're shopping for. They just get it. And this broke it down perfectly so somebody understands what they can keep and what they can lose.
Well, I appreciate that, Michael.
Yeah.
And again, I do this. It's not called Housing and Urban Development anymore. It's called Neighborhood Housing Authority, and it helps people that are buying new homes. And I go over there probably not recently, but probably 2 or 3 times and speak in front of their new home buyer classes. And it's short enough to fit their time frame, but I think it gets the point across that, you know, ask questions. That's all I ask people to do, is ask questions.
Very good. Other questions?
All right. Well, I have one question for my mentor, Mr. Stan. To stop this, I just do the stop share, right?
That is correct.
All right. Yay, there we
There
go.
you go. Good job.
Well, thank you
Okay.
guys for the opportunity.
And thank you, Stan, for the mentorship there. And we'll just segue right into Stan, who is marketing automation consultant. And I got to say with Stan, he is the go-to person anytime you got something wrong or you know with your technology, or you need to connect different programs so that they talk to each other. Your email marketing program and maybe some form that people are signing up on your website, and there are two different programs, you want to make them work together. Stan's the go-to person for that. And you want to do Facebook Live broadcast, Stan's the go-to person. You want to do Zoom breakout rooms, Stan's the go-to person. You have some weird program that you don't understand, that Stan doesn't even know, and it'll probably bug him to death until he figures it out, and then he'll show you how to make it work. So Stan is going to help us learn about marketing automation. So go for it, Stan. You got to unmute yourself though. You're still muted.
I had to find the button now that I had the presentation up on the screen. So
Okay.
Mr. Technical couldn't find the button.
Yeah, after that big introduction, you
That's right.
went and failed me there.
Exactly. Can't find the button, right? Geez. You know, there's the thing that's interesting with technology is there's always more to learn, right?
Mhm.
So anytime you think that you know it all, you don't. Something will come up to teach us what we don't know. Okay. So at any rate, we're going to talk about marketing automations. And here's the thing that's interesting is that when we talk about marketing automations, quite often, I'm sure some of you guys say, well, what the heck do you mean by marketing automation, right? Because it's a term that sometimes gets thrown around. David, I know what you mean now when you're the host and you're trying to move this box around with the people on it so you can
Mhm.
deal
Yep.
with your screen, right? So that's quite interesting. All right. So
Yep.
what is marketing automation? Well, here's a simple way to think about it. It's getting the right message to the right people at the right time. And so how do you do that? And there's a number of tools that we can use, but that you almost say, well, why do I need marketing automations? Okay, well, this is one big reason. This little bug has shown up and created havoc in most of the local businesses, or many of the local businesses, because they're just not sure how to promote themselves, how to communicate their message, how to continue doing business with all the restrictions for social distancing and all of that. And so here's a few points to consider is that some people are waiting for things to go back to normal. Well, it may take a while for us to get back to the quote unquote normal. And maybe we end up in a new normal that we, if we wait for that normal, we end up in a new normal and we still don't know how to function within it as well. And so we have a need right now to capture and nurture leads right now. And automation saves you time, and time equals money. And now most of you have heard me say this before, is that the big key thing that I say all the time is 80% of sales are made somewhere between the 5th and the 20th contact. And what's interesting is 2% are made typically on that first contact. So that's not very many. So 3% of sales on the second contact, 5% on the third contact, 10% on the fourth contact, and 80% are made somewhere between that 5th and that 20th touch. So it becomes having an effective lead capture and follow-up system becomes critical, not just something that ends up being a nice to have. And companies that nurture their leads make 50% more sales at a cost that's 33% less than those that are not nurtured. And while a lot of people don't realize it, email marketing is still one of your best bets, because for every dollar that you spend on email marketing, you make an average return of about $42. And so today's presentation really is gonna, it's kind of on the front end of the email marketing, because the email should be one of the staples, and it should be something that really is a part of your marketing funnel. The email is a critical piece of really that marketing funnel. But I think most people really don't really understand and realize that the calendar automation coupled with email and text messaging can make a gigantic difference for you in your business as well. Now, David and I got into a conversation earlier in the week, or maybe it was sometime in the last 7 days, whatever, about calendars. And he kind of spurred some thoughts in my mind in terms of calendars and, what am I using? What are some of the others? And I stumbled onto a new calendar program that I love. And I just thought I would share this with you, because it's kind of right along that lines of how do you use this stuff how can you automate your appointment setting and so forth to then take it even a step further. So I'm going to show you a little system that I built. Is that I'm using a system called Appointlet. It's a calendaring system, but what it allows me to do is, and I'm going to give you guys this, and let's see, there's a few of you that I've not had a one-to-one meeting with yet. And so I'm going to encourage you when we get back here, when I show you these, to schedule a one-to-one. And I want you to use this system so you can try it. And everybody else, if we have had a one-to-one, but you'd like to talk more about some of what I talked about here, or just to share and catch up, then use the system, use it, and let's do it. But here's what's cool about this thing is that, one, you can send people to it. You can post it to your website. You get it to them in a number of ways. I'm going to cover that in a second here. But once a person goes to my calendar and they book an appointment, they're going to get an auto email confirmation. And then it will send up to 3 reminders before the appointment. And it does all of that automatically. So you don't have to do anything else with it as far as that goes after they have booked that appointment. The other thing that it does is it automatically goes over to Zoom or any number of the other video conferencing tools that you might use. It will automatically go set up the Zoom video conferencing call, and it will put that information inside those emails that it's sending to people. It will put the appointment on your calendar for you. So I use Google Calendar, so it puts it right on my Google Calendar. And that is also linked to my iOS device, my iPhone. So therefore, that calendar now shows up everywhere where I'm going to see it. And the third thing it does is it automatically goes over and it puts that person's contact information into my email marketing system. So now, which is ActiveCampaign. And so now the email marketing system is then going to go over and it will start to send whatever the messages are that I've set up in that system. Right off the bat, you're going to get a welcome message, and I'm going to invite you to join me on social media, in my Facebook group, things like that. But there are any number of other email series that you can put in place to nurture that lead, to nurture that appointment. How many of you, just raise your hand if this is you, how many of you have ever had somebody schedule an appointment and they did not keep the appointment? Right? And quite often, if we do that, we've scheduled the appointment, we maybe didn't go and enter them into our database. And so now we have to manually kind of keep track and connecting with them and so forth. This puts them into my database automatically, and the email systems are going to start to follow up with them automatically. And I've got a bunch of different series that I could use. You can kind of create your own. You can use some of these other series that we have. Okay. Now I said, how do you get them into your calendar? Well, one way is to you on your website, you create a link that says either book me or schedule or something, whatever it is. You can call it whatever you want. They can go to your website and schedule an appointment with you, or you can email them a link. Or now this is your opportunity right here. Okay. So now take your phone if you're not on it for this meeting, take your phone, open your camera, and just hold it up so that your camera is pointing towards that that QR code right there, and it will open a link that will actually take you to the appointment. The alternative is you can type in the links. Now I showed you the links because I'm also throwing in this little tidbit about link shorteners here. The raw link is that top link, and that's pretty long. So it's a little bit difficult to share that with somebody to tell them how to get to it, or even for people reading it or typing it in, it's a little bit of a pain. You can use a link shortener like Bitly, or Google has a link shortener. TinyURL is a link shortener. There's a bunch of them that are out there, so take your pick. But you can use a tool like that to create a link. And if you customize that link, you get much better results from it because people will remember it much more easily. Bitly is a popular one, so a lot of people knows. A lot of people know how Bitly works, and they understand it, that they go, oh yeah, it's a Bitly link, Shields 30. Yeah, I can remember that. The Pretty Links is one that actually helps you brand your business more by always showing your website name and then followed by whatever you name that link. So Pretty Links is a great tool to use in order to continue with your branding, but give people shorter links that's a little bit easier for them to find. So if you were to do any of those links or the QR code or whatever, the next thing you would see would be the scheduling page. And the cool thing about this is that it looks at my Google Calendar, because that's my main calendar. It will look at my calendar, and anytime that I already have an appointment, it will not show that to the person that's trying to schedule an appointment. So it is syncing both ways in real time to help me with managing my calendar. There was another system that I used to use that I literally had to go to that system to put in the times I wanted to block out or whatever. But this way I get to use one calendar. My Google Calendar is my main calendar. And that way it will show people what's available outside of whatever's on my calendar right there. Next thing that happens is you put in your info in it, you hit enter, and then it takes you to a confirmation page. And once that is confirmed, it will now take your info, put it in my calendar, which is what I showed you in that first slide, is it now took your info, scheduled the Zoom video conferencing, scheduled put it on my calendar, created the email database or put it over in the email database. And by the time you receive the confirmation for your appointment, you also got a welcome message from me. So all of it happens almost simultaneously.
Wow.
And so now, so how can I help? David, this is where I'd say that David, I'm like, wow, did you read my slide? Help you with troubleshooting. Sometimes I work with people, they say, look, I've got all this technology. They're maybe in a network marketing business or something else. And they're like, I don't even know how to use this stuff. Can you help me figure this out? Well, yes, that's what I can do. I can help you figure this stuff out, help you figure out what is it that you have, where are you trying to go? And then if you need technology, we can determine if and how technology can help you find more prospects and make more sales. We'll craft a technology plan for you. We'll implement your technology plan for you. So I can help you kind of figure out where you are, what you need, and what are the best tools that are out there to use to accomplish whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish. And so, any questions?
That was an awesome presentation, Stan.
And
Thank
it was
you.
way too long. It was 12 minutes. I was going for 8.
It was just right.
So at any rate, any questions with it?
So who here has a calendar scheduling?
I just booked one for 2 o'clock with you, Stan. Did you see it? I mean, it's just a facade, but yeah.
Yeah, I can't see it right now because I'm in
Okay.
this
Okay.
thing, but let me go out of this.
It was kind of cool.
And
I just followed
And
I just actually, even yesterday, set up a whole system with Calendly, which, and the system you're showing actually does more than what I just set up, but I'm really excited about what I did because I did put something on my Google Calendar and it automatically went to Zoom and went to all those other things. This system actually does more than what I just set up. But I love the idea of having a calendar where people can go choose their time and the stuff I've got already booked is blocked. I mean, the whole thing is so efficient, and I mean, I really love what you're presenting. It's good.
excellent. The Calendly, there are several systems that are out there. Calendly is a very popular one that a lot of people use. Acuity is one that I used for really a couple of years, but as I looked at this one, I said, whoa, I like this better, and it's actually less expensive than what the others are. And so, and the fact that right now we're doing so many meetings on Zoom or some kind of video conferencing, I love the fact that it integrates with all the major systems, or 4 or 5 of the major systems. So it integrates with Zoom, GoToMeeting, Join Me, I think GoToWeb. Anyway, so most of the popular conferencing systems, it integrates with those and integrates with many, well, actually probably most of the email marketing systems. It'll integrate with almost everything. It'll use a third-party tool, Zapier, to connect with systems that it doesn't natively integrate with. So you can pretty much connect to anything. So yeah.
So how difficult is it to set up a Pointlet for the average person? Is this something that like they can just download a Pointlet and it has easy instructions and you can set it up and do all the integrations? Or is it something that you really need to have some guidance to get it all set up?
Yeah, actually, it's pretty simple to do. If you go to a Pointlet, it's just a Pointlet.com, and I'm going to hit stop share. But if you go to that site, you don't download anything. It's all done web-based, and so literally, it walks you right through. It's got a great little 5-step system that says, "Here's the first stage. Here's the first step. Do this." And then once you've completed that, it shows you what you've completed and what's next, right? And everything it's intuitive. It makes a lot of sense.
Very good. Other questions for Stan? Now's your chance.
I don't have a question, but Dan, that was awesome. I need a one-on-one with you.
Okay.
Well, you know how to make an appointment. Yeah, any email that you have received from Stan, I guess recently since you set this up, in the footer of that email, it'll have an appointment link, won't it, Stan?
Most of them, let's see. Yes, it has an appointment link. It's funny though, because this system is actually new for me that I literally have just set up like between yesterday and today. So, but what happens is I have right now, I have dual systems running. So I have the other system that I've been using for 2 years. And so a lot of my information, links and everything have not been transferred over, right? So the best link to go to do that would be the one that I gave you in this presentation today.
Yeah, go ahead and set it up in the chat if you haven't.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the chat.
And by the way, everyone else, please add your contact information in chat. That'll be helpful, and then we can grab that before the meeting's over. We'll have that for everyone. Okay, Stan, thank you so much. And now let's go ahead and just any testimonials anyone would like to share. You've done business with someone else in the room here, or you have had a one-to-one, you'd like to say something about that person, go ahead, and now's your chance. Mark.
Yeah, it's not so much that I've done business with him, but I do want to throw a shout out to Stan again. Yesterday, he was very, very kind, very, very open, very, very good and very patient with a technologically unadept individual. So if you need anything from someone who is very, very patient and very clear, I would certainly recommend Stan.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Any others?
Well, I'm going to give Michael a shout out, which is, with regard to the stuff that he's done with the Facebook, the groups, as well as the marketing with the pages and the groups, and understanding how to get get these followers and all of that. He's done some pretty amazing work with that. And even understanding that depending on where your business is and where your business operates, he's got a lot of international people that's on that one of those Facebook groups in particular. But he's just had his nose to the grindstone, learning so much stuff here in the last several months, really, because he's been just studying, learning this from and just different people, learning so much, and then taking all of it and applying it. And now he's starting to really see some of the fruit of all that labor with those. His Facebook groups are growing and whatnot. And so now he's really building towards doing more of the actual internet marketing to those groups and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to give him a big shout out for what he's been doing with that.
And he'll be presenting, by the way, the first Wednesday in May, and at our new network Northwest, and revealing some of these really cool things that he has learned. So I'm looking forward to that, Michael.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting out of my job.
Yeah.
Back.
Fire your boss.
Have you heard recently what's going on in Las Vegas?
No.
A lot of people that are working at the casinos are leaving their jobs.
Mm.
They're going into jobs somewhere else or online. Win Today posted a long list of jobs that they need filled.
Mm. Wow.
And they're not online jobs, all of them. No. So a lot of people are getting out of the casino now because they have an idea that they're not going to have a job coming in the next couple of weeks.
And maybe it's a good transition time. They didn't want to be there anyway. It strikes me as not the most enjoyable atmosphere. Okay. Other testimonials?
I have something to say about Nancy Magurno. I've known Nancy for a while now, and I don't know anyone else that has just embraced this time. And like you were talking about, Michael, Nancy's done the same thing. She's always super busy. She's always trying new things and being innovative, and no matter what kind of technology she's trying out, like Calendly and everything else that she's doing, she's just amazing, and keeping her team going, and all of us going, and the other networking groups that we have with her. She's amazing. She's my idol. I want to be like Nancy.
Oh, I hope not.
Okay.
You're awesome, Nancy.
Oh my gosh.
That's very good.
Oh, I just love networking. Well, and I wanted to do a shout out for Sherry, because we were talking about, well, actually we're talking about developing Zoom skills. What was that, Saturday? We did some practice between us on how to do Zoom and how to do all these different things. And I'm still going, okay, how do you make a slideshow? I want to know how to do that. But anyway, but in the meantime, I mentioned to her that I needed some more of my Isagenix, and boom, it was at my doorstep yesterday. Sherry is just so right on top of her business. And she talked about a couple of other products, and I'm kind of sticking with the one I love, but I do love it. And she's so reliable, and it's just so good. So, and I love my one Isagenix product that I really, my cleanse. Who was it? Somebody else was Stan. Maybe you're the one that got into the cleanse. It's like, oh, that stuff is so good. It's fun to work with someone else in a direct selling company that is just as stable and as successful, because we can count on it. And that's not always the case. So Thanks, Sherry, for being how good you are. Bless you.
Okay, and speaking of Sherry, as I'm looking at everyone's image here on the video and thinking, okay, who will our other speaker be next time? I'm thinking it's been a long time since we've heard from you, Sherry, and wondering if you would be our other featured speaker.
No.
You'll need to,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll be happy to. I was going to say it's a mutual society with Nancy. Sure, be happy to.
Wonderful, good. So Michael and Sherry are our speakers for the first Wednesday in May. And what I'd like to encourage all of us to do is go ahead and bring a guest next time. You know, it's one thing about these Zoom meetings, these virtual network meetings, is that you could almost, in the signature line of your emails that you send out, you can almost have a little invitation saying, hey, I'd like to invite you to drop in, be my guest at the next Noon Network Northwest meeting. Can you imagine if each of us did something like that? It could grow the group. And once again, the more we grow, the more business is going to flow in our direction. So consider that. Okay, so that concludes this portion of our meeting. Now, are there any, we'll do two more things. One is announcements, then we'll do the breakout room. So does anyone have an announcement of an event that you want to share? Remember, Marianne is presenting at a webinar this evening, 7 to 8 p.m. for the Achieving Your Optimal Health series. And love to have you guys present. We've got a health and fitness chamber meeting tomorrow, and that's going to be at 11:30. And definitely the Health and Fitness Chamber has been growing. There's some amazing things that have occurred. And the goal of the chamber is to help each of the member businesses reach an income level of $10,000 per month or more. And so we're systematically offering training to help members reach that point. And so you'll see a training that was offered last week. That's up on the site, vegashealthfitnesschamber.com. And tomorrow there is an additional training offered by Jonathan Marks. He's got an MBA and is very deeply connected with the health community nationally and internationally. He's doing work with the Centers for Disease Control, and he's going to talk about communicating effectively. And it's going to be a really good presentation. So encourage you to consider that. Once again, go to networklasvegas.com. You can find all the links to these networking opportunities. You can register there, and you can also share those links with other people.
Now, isn't Louise presenting tomorrow at the Las Vegas Health and Fitness?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, I am.
Do you want to give us a thumbnail of?
It's just going to be a thumbnail of really what I do, where I procure my teas, the difference between Socrates and Tassans, and just general information. And thank God for Jonathan Marks, because my slides went to him 3 times. And so now I'm pretty proud of the information and how I got it all together. So yes, hopefully it'll be very good and entertaining, and you'll learn something.
Excellent, good. Okay, another reason to go tomorrow.
Okay, Nancy's
Okay.
got something to announce.
Nancy.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know, maybe you couldn't see me or something because I'm waving my hand going like, ah.
I was looking at Louise and
But it's so good. I love looking at Louise. It's great to look at. No, in my effort to become a Zoom maniac, I am actually at 4:30 today and 11:30 Friday morning and 10 o'clock Saturday morning. I am doing Zoom presentations about today and Friday are going to be about 2 of our skincare programs. We have 6, but I'm going to just be talking about 2 of our skincare programs. And then Saturday morning, it's going to be talking about supplements, charcoal masks and facial peels and things that, yes, guys can do those things, but usually it's going to be women. So, and honestly, I'm looking for some people that will get on these things and be a guinea pig for me so they can tell me how I'm doing. So I have somebody to work with. Because I mean, I can talk into the camera, but I really like the feedback. So if anyone is willing to just be there as a guinea pig, please help me. So, and
okay.
message me privately and I can give you the information.
Yeah, you can put it in chat also.
Yes, I will. Oh yeah, I could do that. I can put that in the chat. No, I can do that now.
Okay. Any other announcements? Okay, let's turn it over to our techie expert, Stan, and break us into the breakout rooms. And in these rooms, we'll have 3 minutes per room, I believe.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay, 2 minutes. Tell us what the rules are and how it's going to work, Stan.
You just said it pretty much. It'll be 2 minutes. So just maybe spend 1 minute each and just kind of figure out, does it make sense for you to do your own private Zoom session or something like that with a person to dive deeper into more information about each of your business and that kind of a thing. We have right now 4 rooms. Nancy, you're going to be in a room, but you're going to be there by yourself for a minute. So don't go anywhere, because what I'll do is once I've made sure that everyone has actually made it into their room, then I'm going to pop over into that room with you, Nancy. Okay. But once I hit open all rooms, you're going to get a message that tells you that you're going to a breakout room. So you just need to accept it or join it. And once you do that, you'll show up in that room. Once the 2 minutes is over, then you'll have 30 seconds to, it'll count down 30 seconds to the end of the meeting, and then we'll all end up right back here at this point. So it looks like Mary Ann jumped off. She doesn't want to go into the breakout rooms with us. And so what will probably happen is I'm going to actually move Nancy. I am going to move you into breakout room. You're going to be with Michael right off the bat. Okay.
And everyone needs to remember to unmute themselves.
Right. Yes. Unmute yourself so that you can talk. Okay. All right. Any questions?
Nope.
Okay. Very good. Here goes. Ready, and you should get messages. There we go.
Okay, I'm leaving to go on another call. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
You are
Okay,
awesome.
bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
That is a hard stop, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Well, it gives you a warning. It tells you it's ending in 30 seconds, right? So if you're
Yeah.
not watching that countdown clock, boom.
There you go.
Anyway,
It's a lesson in learning how to be brief.
That's never been a skill I've had, Stan, so we're in trouble.
but thank you, Stan, for setting this up. That's really helpful. Yeah, I
Good.
gotta go. I've got another appointment. So,
All right, sounds good. Thanks for joining us, Nancy. Take
all
care.
right, bye.
Bye, everybody.
All right. All right.
And
see ya.
Michael, enjoy the beach.
Well, thank you.